Yeah, I actually spent the whole summer of 2020 when COVID was at its peak in Europe, where restrictions were crazy and times were crazy. There was one time we tried flying to Europe, and we had all the legal documents from an attorney, and they ended up changing the regulations the day we flew.
Freak Nation, it's not every Sunday night that you get a 16-year-old race winner here in the Freak Nation, Lucas Oil Studios, but we decided to let him in here. Connor Zilisch joining us here in the Freak Nation, TA2 TransAm winner last weekend in Detroit, and many other victories that we'll get to in moments. But probably the first thing that I ask a 16-year-old is, I saw video of you drinking something after your race. Be honest with me. Have you ever snuck in an alcoholic beverage after a race win, Connor?
No, that was grape juice.
Gosh.
I'm not cool enough for that stuff yet. So give me 4.5 years and I'll be drinking champagne. But for now, it's gonna be grape juice.
Has anyone tried to slip you any alcoholic beverage? Bro, you're from North Carolina, man, and you got all kinds of illegal beverages up there. Has anyone tried to slip you some illegal beverage?
It depends if we're talking on live television or if we're talking as friends. But the answer for now is gonna be no.
Well, the good news is I remember the first time I had a beer. I was 15 years old, and a buddy of mine's older brother handed me a Michelob. And I took one swig of it and thought, what the hell are we drinking? And then, of course, 10 years later, I became an alcoholic. I'm joking. Listen, Connor, it's not lost on us what you're doing. We can get hung up on your age, but you aren't winning races, as Statman likes to say, because you're running up front. You're winning races because you work your way up to the front. And that's what you did in Detroit, all the way back to grab actually second place. But according to results and regulations, the person who won the race got his ass kicked and you won the race.
That's right.
Where did you learn these chops to become such a study of racing?
I grew up racing go-karts. It's not in the family or anything like that. I'm first generation. Grew up racing go-karts, started when I was 4.5. My dad used to take his car to the track, but he was just a hobbyist. And then my soccer coach told my dad we should go to the go-kart track. So that's where I got bit by the bug. And I was playing soccer until I was 10, 11 years old, but I grew up racing go-karts as well on the weekends where I wasn't playing soccer. And I actually had to make a decision. I had made like the state team when I was 10 or 11 years old for soccer. And we told them I'd miss a few games due to some races, and they kicked me off the top team and put me on the B team. And that's when I said, I'm going to commit to racing. So it's kind of been, we've been learning as we're going. My dad obviously doesn't know that much. We've had a lot of guidance and a lot of good people around us to help get me where I am, but it hasn't been the easiest, that's for sure.
By who? Who has given you some of the best advice or some of the greatest encouragement in your rise through the ranks in motorsports so far?
I really was set on racing IMSA or sports cars. And 2020, 2021, I started racing on the same go-kart team as Keelan Harvick, Kevin's son. So I actually got to spend some time with Kevin, and he kind of has helped me a lot and introduced me to the right people. We don't work together anymore, but he did a lot for me in a year and a half that I spent with him, and gave me a lot of good advice and helped me get to kind of where I am right now with the team I'm with, and has kind of pushed my focus towards NASCAR racing, oval racing, and he's had a lot of influence on where I am headed right now.
Okay, that time frame that you just mentioned right there, 2020 and 2021, when you met the Harvicks, I want to talk about a 4-year span in there from 2017 to 2021 when you won 7 championships, which is just astronomically amazing. But COVID was in there. So how were you able as a young kid to balance the craziness in the world with your 7 titles and trying to figure out your way in this racing world?
Yeah, I actually spent the whole summer of 2020 when COVID was at its peak in Europe, where restrictions were crazy and times were crazy. There was one time we tried flying to Europe, and we had all the legal documents from an attorney, and they ended up changing the regulations the day we flew. So I flew to New York, and they wouldn't let me go to Europe, so I got stuck there. But it was wild. I mean, I was racing every weekend, and for part of that time, I was in public school, missing 50, 60 days a year of school, maintaining straight A's, and still balancing my life and school. And it was tough for me as a 10, 11, 12-year old, dealing with things that someone that is 20 should be dealing with. But it has matured me a lot, and it's been a really good experience for me as a kid growing up, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Wow. Connor Zilisch. I'm enjoying this conversation, just listening to a 16-year-old sound intelligent. That's completely live. But I've boiled everything down to 4 M's. You mentioned soccer. The biggest headline in the world in soccer right now is Messi and Miami. That's 2 of the M's. What do you think about that move?
I'm amazed. It's like Lewis Hamilton going to IndyCar or something like something crazy like that. I mean, it'll be really interesting, that's for sure, and I'm excited to see it. But yeah, unexpected to say the least.
Yes.
So, but the next M, you mentioned all A's. Does that include math, where you're taking home these A's?
Yeah, actually it does. I was really good at math in middle school. I haven't taken math in 2.5 years actually. So I might not be as good anymore, but I could after freshman year, I could have graduated from math. So I'm smart. I don't know where both my parents always say I'm the dumbest thing on the face of the planet, but apparently I'm book smart. I just might not have the common sense. I guess you get one or the other, and I didn't get the common sense one.
Well, there's a lot of people that can't navigate the streets of Detroit, and you certainly can. So let me go to the last M in Detroit is music. What's on your playlist, dude? What are you listening to? Heavy metal, rock? What are you drawn to?
I grew up listening in the car with my dad to 80s, 90s rock. So I kind of thought I was too cool for it when I was 13, 14, but it's starting to grow on me again. So some old rock is good. I enjoy some country music every once in a while. I can't listen to it for too long, though. I'll get sick of it. But I listen to everything, really. I mean, you could put any song on in the car, and I'd enjoy it. And I have like over 1,000 songs in my playlist, and I can sing every song word for word. So music is definitely big in my car when I'm driving. So I have a lot of pride in my music taste.
Give me an 80s or 90s band name then, you bastard. You keep jumping around it. Come on.
Foo Fighters, Nickelback. We're going to a Smashing Pumpkins concert later in the year, Nickelback concert later in the year, Matchbox 21 concert later in the year. So I've got a lot of.
You go.
I got three big rock concerts this year that I'm going to. So it's going to be a good year for music for me.
You notice, Kenny, let me jump in here. He got it right. He didn't call it the Foo Fighters. He called it Foo Fighters. You really are a fan.
Yeah, I've already been to one Foo Fighters concert in my life too. I enjoy that stuff as much as, I mean, most of the kids nowadays just listen to the mumble rap, but like I can take like 10, 15 minutes of it, and then I'm like, all right, this is dumb. This is dumb. And then I got to move on. But it's I have a wide music taste. I'll listen to anything.
So we got another M there. You hear that mumble rap? We got math. We have Messi, Miami, math, music, and mumble rap.
By the way, Stepman, all this is happening on Mav TV.
Hey,
there you go. Mumble rap. I gotta write that down, dude. That's cool.
You know, it's incredible that you go to me to bring this thing back on the rails and talk a little bit of motorsports. But with these race wins in TransAm, with the TA2 class, Mazda Cup, karting, who's looking at you right now to bring them on to win wet races for them? I understand the family that you're running for now in TransAm, but are there other team names looking at you to come on board and run the trucks or the next series in IndyCar?
I mean, if you listen to Kenny Wallace's podcast with Joey Logano, Joey said there's no teams, truck, Xfinity, ARCA, that's going to go hire a driver. Like Joey said, he had to bring money for the truck race that he did this year. So it's less of teams looking for me. But Chevrolet has been a big part of my racing the last year and a half. They've helped me get on the oval races. Josh Wise, he used to race NASCAR. He branched off, went back to college and got a psychology degree and came back as a kind of a driver mentor and worked with Kyle Larson, got Kyle Larson to where he is today. And he got contracted by Chevy to kind of start a junior program. So there's me and 4 other kids that are a part of this program, and they've done a lot for me. Late model racing got me in the oval track scene, introduced me to the right people in the NASCAR industry. So that's been good for me. Chevrolet's done a lot for me, and we're working towards something for the future. But it's hard to get these teams to pay a driver to race for them. Like if a NASCAR 2-time Cup champion can't get a ride to go race a truck 4 times a year, then how do they expect the 16-year-old kid that doesn't have a resume to go racing? So the world has changed in motorsports for sure. But I'm doing everything I can and trying everything I can to get myself in a seat.
So how do you combat that, though? Do you just have to rely on a hopeful one-off and then impress in that one-off that it leads to a second and a third? Or do you just go pound the pavement to try to find sponsors, which, like you just alluded to, is pretty difficult in this climate?
Yeah, obviously winning helps everything and makes all your problems not go away, but it sure doesn't hurt. So obviously whenever you get the opportunity to go out there and race, you got to make the most of it. And I feel like I've done a good job of that in the last year and a half. But as you get into the truck stuff and ARCA stuff, you're going to get less opportunities, which mean those opportunities are going to mean even more. So it's going to be interesting to see what I can do as I start moving up. But I'm pretty hopeful to where I am and the people I have around me to give me a few really solid opportunities in the next year and a half in that NASCAR industry and work my way into that and hopefully make a name for myself. And obviously there's guys like Josh Berry, Ryan Preece that have done it on talent and pure talent by going out and winning races. So there's still hope. And obviously I'm 100% committed to it. I'm in the gym every day working out with all the Chevy Cup drivers and truck and Xfinity guys and sitting in on their pre-race meetings, trying to soak in everything I can, just be a sponge and see what the best guys are doing. Cause whatever they're doing worked for them. So if I can imitate what they're doing and learn from their ways, I can hopefully be the best by the time I'm 22 or 23.
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers.
The Bommarito Automotive Group 500 at Worldwide Technology Raceway is not just a race. It's a spectacle. It's time to mark your calendar. Saturday, August 26th and Sunday, August 27th. 2023 is bigger and better than ever before. Get ready for the wildest festival of speed in the Midwest. Go to WWTRaceway.com now because the first deal is the best deal.
Now, Connor, we started this interview and you mentioned how IMSA, you didn't use the word dream, but IMSA was the road that you were wanting to go down. You're clearly in NASCAR circles right now. Is it still anything's on the table in the future? Like Kenny brought up the IndyCar Next Series, or is anything out there for you? Or is it now you're really focusing in on NASCAR?
I wouldn't say I'm focusing in. I'm still 16, so I still have plenty of time before I really need to decide on what I want to do. And that's kind of the reason I'm still running the Mazda stuff and partially the TA2 stuff to keep myself on the map of the people in the IMSA paddock or the WEC paddock overseas. And Chevy has the Corvette and they're going customer racing. So maybe I'll be able to find an opportunity somewhere in that realm. But definitely not out of the picture by any means. I always grew up wanting to race it, and Like Kyle Larson races everything he can get in, and he goes and wins in a sprint car on Tuesday and then wins in a cup car on Sunday. So I never really want to be the guy that's good at one thing. I want to experience everything that I can and stay as active as I can in as many different cars as possible. So I'll never say anything's off the table. As an opportunity comes my way, I'll take it.
Sweet.
You keep throwing these M's out there. You mentioned Mazda, and now if you want some mentoring that you're getting from some of these Chevy drivers, are they mentoring you on building your media empire, your social media? You've got to have a social media universe to attract sponsor attention nowadays.
Yeah, the world has changed for sure with social media and the internet. So I've put a lot of focus on interacting with fans and at the track, whether it's signing autographs, giving away hero cards to kids. I never keep a hat after a race. I always find a kid to give a hat to, and just do the best that I can to interact with people and be as sociable as possible. That's what people like. They don't like the guys that sit in the hauler and then come out and get in their car, and then when they get off the track they come back and sit in the hauler until the next time they go out. So to answer your question, social media, I do the best that I can. I do it all myself, and I keep it super personable, and I don't really want someone to control my social media, obviously, until I'm cup or higher up. I like to keep it natural and make sure it's me that's talking. So I take a lot of pride in my social media and what I do, keeping everyone updated and trying the best I can to grow it. It's tough, but there's ways to grow it that people don't use, and I've been slowly starting to get into it and try to figure it out, because it's a big part of motorsports, and it's a big part of our world. As you've seen, it's grown, and everyone's on social media nowadays, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So definitely a big part of growing up and getting into this sport is social media. So I've been trying.
Hey, jump into TransAm in the TA2 class, starting from the back, working your way up on a course that, frankly, a lot of pundits were saying, how in the hell is anybody going to pass? And you're driving a freaking beast out there. What gave you the ability to pass on a track that really wasn't passing friendly? Were other drivers just that crappy, or were you just that much better?
Yeah, a little bit of a mix of both of them. TransAm, the top 7 to 10 are competitive cars. Once you get back outside of that, it starts to be the older guys that are out there having fun, and some of them are naturally talented, but it's tough when you're competing against 16 to 21-year-old kids. You're never going to be able to be as good as them. So, those guys that are out there filling the fields are maybe not as fast, and you can get through them a lot faster. So I probably passed 12, 15 cars in the first 3 laps, and that was halfway up the field already, got me to the top 10, 15. So after that, it gets tough for sure. Every car you pass, the next one's harder. So figuring out how to get through the street course and not end up in a wall while trying to pass 27 cars or whatever it was not easy for sure, but patience and attrition. So I was able to keep it out of the wall and keep it on the track, and somehow found myself in 4th on a restart, and then they wrecked for the lead. So ended up 2nd, but the guy that wrecked the leaders got a penalty. So somehow I won.
So you're a 16-year-old who's a very well-spoken 16-year-old, and you have patience. I didn't think that even existed in this world. So
I don't know if I have patience all the time, but for that race I did.
Hey, can we start with this, though? Do you know Stingray Robb?
Yep. I grew up around him in go-karts.
All right. Can you get a name like that, bro? Listen, Connor Zilisch Zilisch is one of a kind, but let's play off. Stingray
cool.
Robb, brother. What's up?
I know. I'm never going to compete with that one. I'm going to have to. When I turn 18, you gotta give me a name to switch to.
The Zilisch burger, the Zilisch the cough, the Zilisch the cough, dancing through the field, baby.
No.
Hey, yeah.
No.
Come on.
There's something better than Connor.
Oh,
All right, let's end it with this. You wake up one morning and the trophy gods are standing right in front of you. In front of you, you've got a World Cup trophy. You've got a Daytona 500 trophy. You have an Indy 500 trophy. Of those
24 Hours of Le Mans.
24 Hours of Le Mans trophy, of those four, some of those badass trophies and highly sought after trophies in the history of mankind, which one do you run to first?
I saw this on Twitter today. I was thinking about it, so it's good you asked because I already had time to think about it. But I don't think anything compares to the Indy 500. As cool as the Daytona 500 is, and as special as that one is, the Indy 500 is just like a step above everything else. And like 350,000 people in the stands. I don't think anything compares to that. So what I would do to be in Joseph Newgarden's shoes this year, that was an awesome race. And that'd be my number one.
That's right. He's Team Chevy too.
Bang.
Yep.
Smart move. Well, buddy, good luck to you. I'm certain we'll see you down the road, man. This is fantastic. Good luck to you in your young career and your burgeoning career. Hey, what's the best advice that Harvick's or his wife has given to you when it comes to racing?
Or Keelan.
I think some of the best stuff that I heard from Kevin is don't shoot down any opportunities, right? So as silly as something may sound, or as bad as something may be, racing is better than not racing any day of the week. So if you can get in a race car, get in a race car. And I've listened to that for sure. I've been in everything the last 2 years, and it's helped me for sure. So I would say jump in on any opportunity you can.
Bang.
Nice.
Connor Zilisch, dancing through the field, man.
I love it.
Buddy, thanks for doing this. All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you for you guys' time.
If it's a weekend and there's motorsports involved, you know what that means for us. More travel. More travel means not a great diet. We're feeding off media center food where there certainly is a lack of fruits and vegetables.
Kenny, that's where Field of Greens comes from. These little jars save us on the road. This is real fruits and vegetables ground up so easy that you just mix it with your favorite drink of choice. It could be as simple as water. These guys keep us healthy on the road.
Real organic fruits and vegetables. It helps you with your heart, metabolism, your immune system. It's all right here in Field of Greens.
But hey, don't just take our word for it. Take Field of Greens yourself. And if you go to your doctor a month down the road and he or she doesn't say, hey, what are you doing? Your health is incredible. Keep it up. Then send it back. Full refund.
Go to fieldofgreens.com, use code FREAKS for 15% off, and for recurring orders, an additional 10%. That's 25% off with the code FREAKS at fieldofgreens.com.